Well, I've lost my assistant, but we've cleaned up and I wanted to share with you how some of these turned out. These were some that we did earlier, and my son really gravitated to these because they were very clean, had a lot of white space, and he liked those best. I, of course, like the ones that were filled with color and that actually kind of tended to go to the muddy side. This was one that was done with the Glimmer Mist. This is one where we got to the end of that first set and they were really starting to get very muddy. Love this one. The color is just extremely striking. Let's put that to the side for later. Now this is the batch that we did with you. That included some of the blacks and the metallics, and I spritzed with the Glimmer Mist near the very end. This was his black and white with the metallic mixed in. The camera may not pick it up very well, but the metallic does glimmer there. And of course, this is the one I swirled and got all muddy. Adore this one. Probably one of my favorites. Looks extremely marbled. And if I could get a countertop with that marbling in it, near the end, the water was getting brown. The shaving cream was getting brown and very muddy, but I still like the way they turned out. Man, this one looks like quartz or something. Whoa. They all look like their own little pieces of jewel. So what did I do with all of these once we'd finished? Wanted to play around a little bit, so I set up clear stamps from Scrappy Cat, and I really wanted some that had a lot of open work in them to take advantage of some of those awesome backgrounds. So I took my stamp and I loaded it up with several different ones and stamped those out. I also took one stamp where I stamped it repeatedly on a piece of paper using my black archival ink. And so when I got this, I just took my really sharp cutter bee scissors and cut around them. And once I got them all cut out, they look like this. And as you can see, this was from a softer palette, but I just trimmed around them and they're ready to go to make a cute little card or to be adorned to a layout. And I'll bring in some of my brown cardstock that I can't seem to get enough of and just lay out some of those to give an idea of what they could look like. So I took my Cuttlebug folder, ran this through the Swiss dots, and I also did one in the Divine Swirls. So I'm going to start with just a bit of the warm lipstick and put some of that on the Divine Swirl. Some of the mustard seed. I think I'll do that on the other Divine Swirl. And then last but not least, some of the tumbled glass. And that's on the Swiss dots. I'm going to bring back in my card and we'll see how that looks. And popped up on some foam dots. I think those flowers are going to look very pretty. I'm liking the 3 flowers, but then I'm thinking, what if I use this and cut out some of the same matching flowers and pop them up off the page once I had distressed them? I think that would make a nice 3D effect. Now I had stamped these with my little block and I didn't quite press hard enough, so when I went back to do it again, I wasn't being very careful about lining it up, and it was very evident because these didn't line back up. So I took the long sheet that resulted from it, put it through my Spellbinders die, came out with these, and then decided to run them through a Sizzix die. And this is the set from Dana Fishbein. It's the Flower, Vine, and Twizzle set. And then once it came out, I went over this one with some worn lipstick and it turned out okay. Very grunge looking. And I did the same to this one with some vintage photo, and again very grunge looking. But when I turned this over and played with some of that vintage photo here, man, I really like the die. I was thinking whimsical, but I like it. So I won't throw these away. I'll find some kind of way to use them in something. So waste not, want not. Then I took one that I'd done and put it through the other one that went with it and got this nice raised effect. And this is the mustard seed. Worn lipstick. Let's try some of the tumbled glass now. Okay, nice. Then moving on, I did the same thing and took it through this folder from Sizzix, and I love the texture. So the last thing I want to do for you before I leave is to stamp a little bit, and I'm going to bring in another one of my stamp pads that I forgot to confess to, and it's another one that I picked up from Joann's. In my previous share out, you'll see one, and this is the other one. So I know I'm going to stamp with this, and I have a couple of ink choices. I can do this Anna Griffin Pigment ink, this Memento dye-based ink, or my archival black ink. And depending on what I want to do in the end, that will really determine what I use now. So I don't know. Choices. All right, let's try some of the Memento Rich Cocoa. And I'll do that with the pine cone one. Let's try the pigment brown ink. Oh, much browner and definitely much softer. Let's go over into the black archival ink. I'm just going to wipe away a bit of that brown. Okay, that's nice and inked, and I really should stamp on the bare table. And there's the black. Don't know about you, but I really can't tell much of a difference. Let me finish stamping this out and I'll be back. Okay, that is the last stamp. And here's what I got. You can tell where the black is versus the two browns. I still like it though. Really, really pretty. Oh my, okay. Thank you for joining me in the lab today. It was fun playing with Heather's paper transform technique. This marbling thing, gotta tell you, I'm loving it. And I'll probably have my child do more of the white background because I think this will be just as pretty stamped out or cut out as this would be. Please remember to visit my blog at inkallusions.blogspot.com where you'll find a lot more information and inspiration. Until then.